Hi guys, this is Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today I've got a very special video for you. It's also a very special video for me. Your simple act of buying knives can help this channel tremendously. There's a special promotion going on between March 9th and March 29th that I am part of. If I can get an increase in the usage of my links to GearBest, where you buy your knives at the same price that you would if you didn't use my links. If I can get an increase in those sales, GearBest is going to give me a huge bonus. A huge bonus. So it's your way of being able to help me out. Anything that you buy at GearBest whatsoever will help me out tremendously. So if you don't buy a knife, if you buy something else, something totally different, please just send me an email, CanadianCuttingEdge@gmail.com. And I can fire back a link to you so that you can still go ahead and buy it, and I'll get a little bit of a commission. You'll still get your item, anything at all that they sell. If you have enough time to, send me a link and get it back, because it might take a few hours depending on what time zone you're in and what's happening in my life that day. If you have that amount of time, please do that. It'll really help the channel out at all. For instance, if I get an increase in the use of those links by 30%, they're going to send me $200 US. If I double the use of those links, they're going to send me $800 US. That would just make a world of difference to this channel right now. So please consider that. Thank you for helping out. Let's get on with the video at hand. This is the G739-2-CF Stonewash Carbon Fiber Laminate onto G10. And here we have the G739 in a satin blade and a sort of a 3D kind of G10, that vertical striped on there, and really good feeling knife. GearBest has this knife in 7 different variations: wooden scales, satin, stonewash, coated blades, all kinds of options. 7 different ways to buy this knife. The simple shape of the handle makes it very comfortable in the hand in a number of different grip styles. Very comfortable and very usable. This saber grind, 3/4 flat grind, is just phenomenally useful, very handy. I think you're going to want to get one of these knives, and that's why I'm reviewing it today. I've been holding off for just a little while until, a special moment, because I find this knife to be one of Ganzo's best. It rivals their new stuff, indeed. No questions asked. In my personal opinion, that is. So, if you're interested at all in the G739, stick around. We're doing a full review coming at you right now. I currently have 2 of the G739s in my possession. I had forgotten that I hadn't done this review, and I've given away a couple of my 739s during giveaways that I've been doing and stuff. And I think I might have sold a couple during my sale. I don't know what I was thinking. I hadn't done this review yet. So here we go. I've got 2, one with a satin blade, one with a stonewash blade. You can also get this knife with a powder-coated black blade. I know you've seen some Ganzos in the past that have a powder-coated gray blade, but this knife is with black. I don't have one, so I'm showing you with this sample, but black color is also available. You can get it in your basic G10. I don't have one here, but you've got your black, green, and orange, just regular flat G10. That is a knife with this kind of texture G10, just a flat slab with that fine texture on it. You can get it in a few colors with these vertical stripes on them that are milled into the G10. And those are available in a couple colors as well, with or without the black coating on the blade. And I believe it's with or without the stonewash or satin. I think all 3 ways. In any case, Ganzo has made this knife 13 different variants. So you've got different choices of handle scales, 3 different choices of blade style, all kinds. GearBest has this knife with a variety of different, 7 different varieties on it. I generally don't mention GearBest's name when I do a Ganzo video, but it's a special case right now because I really do need for the channel the extra funds that can come if you guys buy a bunch of knives using the links I provide. And so I'm saying that now. I'll probably redo this video again after the 29th of March so that Ganzo can have a copy of the video without me mentioning GearBest, which is what they prefer to have if they're going to put the video on their channel, on their website, I should say. So I like to create videos for them to put on their website because they are one of my main sponsors. But right now I got to mention GearBest just because, you know, I could really use the extra funds. Ganzo also has this knife in wood. This is a different Ganzo, so I'm just going to sort of cover it up, but you can see what the wood looks like. They do some really good wood treatments. And so you've got this 739 with wood, you've got it with G10, you've got it with milled G10, you've got it with carbon fiber laminate on G10 scales. By the way, the wooden handled ones, generally most of Ganzo's knives are about ½ an ounce less if you buy the wooden handled version. Just throwing that out there for some of you guys that are weight conscious. Since we're talking about the weight, the average weight for these is 4.8 ounces because it's not skeletonized on the liners at all. I don't know if Ganzo is going to rework this knife and call it the F739. If they do, the chances are going to be good that it's going to have skeletonized handles, liners. 4.8 ounces is 136 grams. Since we're talking about the specs, let's talk about all the rest of the specs here. Cutting edge. By the way, this Band-Aid is a wart treatment that I've had. My little paper cut's gotten better, so I've taken the Band-Aid off there. So what we're talking about here is a knife from this point right here to the tip of the blade. So the cutting edge, 3 5/8 inches, which is 8.7 centimeters. And then the thickness of the steel just behind the grind. So the thickness of the steel right, well, that pen tip might look a little better right there. Right at the very edge, just after that final grind, is 0.029 inches, which is 3/4 of a millimeter. A lot of people like that measurement. The blade thickness, while we're at it, I measured it just behind the thumb studs right here. The blade thickness is 0.13 inches, which is 3.3 millimeters. Handle length is 4 3/4 of an inch, which is 12 centimeters. And when you open the knife up from tip of the blade to heel of the handle is 8 3/16, which is 20.9 centimeters. These are all measurements that I made myself by hand, so they are fudgeable by a small degree. Now let's talk about the knife itself and how much I like it. Let's move this guy off the screen a little bit so that I've got room right here. I much prefer the stonewash versions of the blade. It's just my own personal preference. Be that as it may, satin is really good. You got to remember that the coated blades by Ganzo are powder coated. They are a budget knife factory after all. For now, they're a budget knife factory. I'm hoping they start producing some higher end knives. If you can write to them, write info@ganzoknife.com and tell them that you want them to start making more expensive knives. If you do want to see knives that are like $75 US, $120 US, something in that range, with S35 VN or titanium, all that kind of stuff. If you want Ganzo to start producing knives like that, contact them and let them know. They do have a prototype of a knife that's more expensive, but it sounds like their production is on hold because they're not sure that their customer base is ready for more expensive knives. So write them and let them know. and share that information with other people on other channels. You know, I've got a small audience. We need a big audience to talk to Ganzo and let them know that we're ready for some more expensive knives, as long as they continue making the budget knives as well, because we all love these budget knives. Well, not all. Most of us love these budget knives. The guys that don't, they're not watching this channel, are they? Let's talk about the knife blade in a little more detail. It's a saber grind, so that means it's like a full flat grind that didn't quite make it all the way to the spine of the blade. So we've got a flat area, just a little bit, about a quarter of the blade is a flat area here. Great for your tools, that your sharpening systems that clamp on, good for that. And so saber grind looks really nice, slices really well. The thumb stud is far enough back so it doesn't get in the way of slicing. That's a really good thing. The satin blade has been brushed really well, so it's this vertical brush lines all over it. Looks very nice, very shiny. You know, it's not a reflective mirror edge, but it's a nice shiny edge. And I know from the past that Ganzo's black coating that they do, their powder coat, is quite durable. It's not supremely durable, but you know, it's fairly durable. If you're going to use your knife a lot, you know, it will start to show wear. That's just going to be the nature of a powdered edge. But if you're looking at some of their knives, like if you want this knife, you know, with a black hardware and a black blade, you know, sort of what some people call murdered out, that kind of look, that would be really sharp with this knife. And if you do what I do sometimes, I get multiple different knives and I swap the handle scales out between them. So I come up with knives that even Ganzo hasn't come up with yet. And so you could get that carbon fiber. You could end up with a carbon fiber handle scale with a black blade if you wanted to that way. It's really cool because they're all the same size for the mounting points for the handles, of course. Everything's Torx construction everywhere, so if you've got a nice Torx set, I suggest you get a nice quality set of screwdrivers for your knives to maintain them. Much less chance of stripping out if you do that. The pocket clip is Ganzo's most common pocket clip. When you've got it in your pocket, you're going to have about 1.6 centimeters of the knife sticking out of your pocket. That's roughly just over half of an inch is going to stick out of your pocket. Not that bad on this knife. That pocket clip, what I really like about it is that it's well rounded everywhere. It doesn't create any hot spots at all, and yet it's got enough clearance here that it easily fits. Your pocket fits on there really well, and it sits in there. It's very secure. It's not going to come out of your pocket by accident easily at all, and yet it's going to hold it well enough so that when you want it, you can pull it out without it, you know, just grabbing on and holding on tight. That being said, if you get this milled G10 version, it's going to grab your pocket a little more tightly. It's going to be just a little more effort needed to pull it out of your pocket, a little more effort needed to put it into your pocket, certainly than the carbon fiber. That's going to be the slipperiest. And your regular smooth G10 is going to be sort of in between those two. Your lanyard hole is nice and thick. You could fit 1100 paracord through there. Just barely, but it'll fit. Yes, there's such a thing as 1100 paracord. A 550 paracord would fit in there no problem any day of the week. You could be half drunk and still be able to fit that through there, I'm sure. Okay, don't quote me on that. Don't go getting drunk and making a video where you can't get it through there. The handle shape is very, very good for an EDC. Just take a look at that. You've got a nice swell at the back. You've got a gentle swell at the belly, not much at all. And then you've got a front, not really a choil up here, but it swells out to the front so that you get a good hold where your hand's not going to slip forward if you're cutting and you bump into something and the knife stops while your hand is moving forward. You know, your hand's going to stop there, partly because of the swell right here and partly because of the nice jimping that you have on the thumb riser. The jimping is nice and soft, gentle jimping, and yet it's effective enough. I'm going to give you close-up pictures of those things. So your hand is very secure in there. And then you've got jimping at the back of the handle right here, And that's good for different grips. You know, say you're going to hold your knife this way, your thumb's up here getting a lot of good grip. There's so many different grips. Any grip that you want to hold the knife with is quite comfortable. You know, not all of them are super comfortable, but all of them are comfortable enough to use. You know, any kind of grip that you want to try to use is, you know, doable with this knife, and that's one of the things I really like. The handle scales are half an inch. The handle's half an inch thick. I forgot to mention that earlier. That's about 1.5 centimeters. The axis lock on all of the ones that I've had are quite good, and I really appreciate the way Ganzo has made. They call this their G-lock. I am getting tired of the comments saying Ganzo's axis locks suck. They're just terrible. Every lock can fail. There is no lock in the world that will not fail on a knife. Cold Steel's Trident lock will fail if it's put into the situation for it. Yes, the axis lock that Ganzo makes can fail. So I really like the axis locks by Ganzo. You can see, I'll do a close-up of this. You can see the wear mark where it wears on the tang of the blade here. It's very solid. I used to do spine whack tests, but any reasonable spine whack test where I've dented up these pine boards quite badly, go watch some of my videos that have the spine whack test, never failed. As long as you hear me also say that any knife can fail, even the ones that I say are a good knife. I stand behind Ganzo's axis locks. I would assume no liability or no responsibility if anything happens to you while you're using any knife, because I can't control what you're doing with the knife or your situation or your circumstances. I'm just saying, and I'm babbling on, I don't mean to babble on, sorry guys. Ganzo's axis lock, I like it, and if you don't like it, you're fine to have your opinion, but it doesn't really, it won't change my mind if you tell me how bad it is. It just is what it is, and I like it. Let's take a look at the different options that we have in this knife. At GearBest right now, this knife comes 7 or 8 different ways. Let's talk about them. The satin versions, I don't think GearBest has any satin versions available right now. Okay, let's show you the stonewash options that they have now, and I'm going to give you still pictures of them. And now let's talk about the ones that they have with the black coated blade, and I'll show you the pictures of those. So if you want any of those knives, I recommend them, and as I said earlier, it would really help Canadian Cutting Edge if you had purchased between now and March 29th, 2017, any item at all that GearBest sells. Let's say you want a new water bottle or a new sewing kit or some new screwdrivers, whatever, anything at all. Apparently they've got some really good shoes now, hiking shoes and stuff too. Anything at all, please email me at canadiancuttingedge@gmail.com, and I'll send you a link that will get you the same price, but it will get me a little bit of a commission, and that'll help me out a lot. Thank you so much for that. Now, even though I want you to buy from GearBest because it'll help me out an awful lot, I've got another sponsor who has this knife in stock. He has it in black G10 of this style, this kind of texture, in black with a stonewash blade. If you're in Canada and you want to get that knife, go ahead and use that link. I'll have it in the description as well. From EDC Vault on Amazon.ca. Be very careful when you're buying from Amazon.ca. There are other sellers selling Ganzo knives on Amazon.ca, but they're buying them through China. So when you order it, it'll come through China to you. So it'll take just as long as it does as if you buy it from GearBest. It's going to take you a long time, and you're going to be paying twice as much as if you're getting it from GearBest. So if you want this knife now, and you've got an Amazon, especially if you've got an Amazon Prime account, you can get this knife in just a couple days. Not this one, the black G10 version with stonewash, in just a few days without having to go through CBSA. Make sure that you're buying one from EDC Vault, and I'll give you the link in the description so you can't be wrong. Thank you for supporting Canadian Cutting Edge by using my links to purchase. Thank you for subscribing and for clicking that little bell so you can be notified of every video. Got a big giveaway coming up, maybe 2 big giveaways coming up this month. It's my 1-year anniversary. It's GearBest's 3-year anniversary. If you like this video, please share it with somebody. Let them know about this. And if you know people that shop at GearBest, even if they don't buy knives, please let them know if they can help out this channel a lot. I hate begging for money, but funds are tight and I do need some assistance. And I don't call it begging that I'm doing either. I know some people have written to me and said, you shouldn't be begging, you shouldn't be asking for blah. It costs money to make these videos. I gotta get these knives somehow. Lately I've been getting a number of them for free. That helps an awful lot. And it's not really free, it's at no charge in money terms, but I have to make the video, I need to buy the camera, I need to, take the time out of my life, I need to make everything work together, I need to pay for these materials that I cut up all the time. There's expenses all over the place. There is no free ride in the world in anything, and so if I ask for some support, it's because it costs money to make videos. Most of you understand that. It's a small minority that don't. Thank you so much for your help, those of you who care. Remember, always cut towards your chum and not your thumb.